Namaskar. This is Akhilesh Bhargav. Welcome to Tidbits on Business and Finance with me. As the world gets used to treating COVID to be the new normal, nations are emerging out of the massive slowdown that COVID inflicted on their economies last year. But the pace of recovery of various countries has been different, with very distinct patterns, which the Reserve Bank discusses in its economic outlook in its latest monthly bulletin for June 21. In its review of the global economy, the Reserve Bank says that global economic recovery is gaining traction, but with what it calls a multi speed characteristic. As per the RBI, the state of the global economy is mixed, and it says that we are in a much better place today than what we thought where we would be a year ago. But such recovery, the Reserve Bank says, is uneven and incomplete, and it says that three distinct recoveries are underway in the world today. The first one in countries like USA and China, with rapidly declining effects of the pandemic and a surging economy in their case. The second one in the European nations, with expectations of a favorable growth prospect in 2021, despite some initial hiccups that were faced there. And the third, in emerging market economies like India, with varied growth prospects but with a relatively less positive overall outlook. And that's because of the resurgence of COVID infections and the slow progress on vaccination that we have witnessed. India's case has certainly been one of a huge growth potential, which has been sadly hindered by the COVID resurgence. The RBI review cites an OECD report which has forecasted the global growth in 2021 at 5.6%, cautioning that such growth would significantly depend upon policy support from the government and public health measures. If COVID comes back in a big way, then global growth will also be hit in a big way. The OECD report then says that the impact of the COVID pandemic, which contracted the global economy last year, will continue to linger on, such that at the end of 2022, the global GDP will still be about $3 trillion less than what it was in the pre pandemic scenario. And that too, it will happen with a growing inequality among nations, which is a point of worry. Just as the inequality is increasing between the big corporates and the small entities due to the difference in their pace of recovery, one fast and certain in the case of big companies, the other slow and uncertain in the case of small companies, so has been the case between the recovery and the inequality between rich nations and the poor nations. Further, by the end of 2022, the overall GDP will be 1.8% lower globally than its pre pandemic projections. The RBI then says that as per the World Bank, global recovery will be led by a few advanced economies like USA, and that the emerging economies like India will be left behind far away, which is where the true worry lies, not just for us, but for the world at large. To emphasize the fact that the global economy is gaining momentum, the Reserve Bank points out the following indicative parameters in its report. It first says that the global composite purchase managers index rose to its highest level in over 15 years in May 2021. The PMI for services too touched a 15-year high and was higher than that in the case of manufacturing PMI for the second successive month, indicating a much sharper recovery in the services sector. The bottom line is that global output has been rising sharply in the manufacturing as well as in the service sectors, indicating an overall balanced recovery worldwide. The second indicator, it says, is that global trade is picking up, and the global trade barometer compiled by the WTO is also inching higher. The RBI says that after reaching the pre-pandemic levels by end 2020, world trade and industrial production grew by 3.5% and 2.7% respectively in quarter one of calendar year 2021. It then says that with growing demand and supply disruptions in various regions of the world, shipping costs continue to spiral, becoming a major irritant to global trade. And finally, it says that global economic uncertainty is on the wane owing to vaccine rollouts and the gradual reopening of various economies. In respect of global commodity and finance markets, the RBI bulletin notes as follows. It first says that gold is seeing a renewed demand with the softening of the US Treasury yields, and also because it is considered to be a hedge against inflation which has been rising worldwide. It further says that with a resurgence in demand and the lifting of travel restrictions, crude oil prices, though trading in a narrow range, continue to firm up. It points out that the Bloomberg Commodity Index, which tracks prices of 23 raw materials, has been hitting decadal highs, showing a rising demand. The RBI then says that with better economic outcomes and curbing of infections, most stock markets have been rising. It points out that in most emerging markets, there was an outflow of foreign investments in equities as compared with the inflows, which in the month of May were just one fourth of the outflows of the figures in April 2021. It looks certain to us that if interest rates rise in the US, foreign funds will exit emerging markets in large numbers. It finally says that there has been a rising inflation in emerging economies as also in the advanced economies, with the US experiencing inflation at 5%, which is at a 13-year high. The report of the Reserve Bank then observes that looking ahead at the global economy, even as growth seems to revive, it is wholly contingent on continued policy support by the government and on widespread vaccination. However, it says that inflation merits close watching, and with commodity prices rising, the uncertainty surrounding the inflation outlook poses risk to the recovery and also has spillover risk to the financial markets, especially those of emerging markets like India. The fact is that the economies of the European Union and the USA seem to have taken off and are on a stable footing, while that is not so in the case of India, despite its huge population and a legacy of infrastructure investment backlogs, which should normally provide a ready impetus to demand and growth. While the economies of USA and China are expanding, that of India has contracted again in the June quarter on a quarter to quarter basis. And that's because there is a direct correlation between the pandemic and economic growth. If the COVID pandemic rises, the economic growth falls and vice versa. India's economy languishes today despite the bounce in the global economy, the bounce in the global trade, for two primary reasons according to us, both of which have to do with policy failures. The resurgence of the second COVID wave and its mismanagement due to an overconfident and unprepared government to us is the first reason. And the absence of any genuine financial fiscal stimulus that has failed to put money directly in the hands of the producer and the consumer in India in order to kickstart production and consumption is the second reason, according to us, why economic recovery has been so slow in India. Resultantly, even after the lockdown is being lifted, the Indian economy fails to bounce back. After all, with lost incomes and lost livelihood, where is the money for the manufacturer to start afresh with full vigor? And where is the money for the consumer also to start spending with full vigor? No wonder the CII newly elected president says that the government needs to come up with a fiscal stimulus package of at least rupees 3 lakh crores in order to revive the Indian economy. This is Akhilesh Bhargav signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.